Have you ever stopped in the middle of an intimate moment and wondered, why is my erection not responding the way it used to? It can hit suddenly, unexpectedly, and it leaves many men feeling confused, embarrassed, or even afraid that something deeper is wrong with their penis or their masculinity. But here is the truth you've probably never been told: weakened erections are not a sign of failure. They are a sign that your body is asking for the right kind of support, and the solution can be natural, fast, and surprisingly simple. I am Dr. Emily Collins, urologist, and today we are going straight to the core of what every man over 50 secretly wants to know: how to improve erection quality in just minutes. From the very first seconds, I want you to understand this clearly. Your erection is not controlled only by desire or by testosterone. It is controlled by blood flow. Strong, steady, rapid blood entering the penis. And when that circulation slows even slightly, the penis reacts instantly. Softer erections, slower response, or losing it halfway through sex. This happens because after 50 the tiny arteries that feed your penis begin to stiffen, and your body produces far less nitric oxide, the molecule that tells those vessels to open. Without enough nitric oxide, blood struggles to fill the erectile tissue. That is why so many men feel the change even when their desire is still strong. But here is the exciting part. The same way blood flow slows down, it can speed up. Again, when you activate specific pressure zones and vascular triggers that stimulate nitric oxide release. This is where the 3-minute secret begins to make sense. You are not forcing an erection. You are helping your body unlock what it already knows how to do. When you apply the right technique, the penis responds quickly because the biology is ready to cooperate. The method is natural, it works with your circulation, and most men feel the effect almost immediately. And before we move forward, let me ask you something important. Have you ever felt that moment of frustration when your erection fades just when you need it the most? You are not alone. Understanding what is happening inside your body is the first step, and what you are about to learn may surprise you. If this resonates with you, leave a comment sharing your experience, hit like to help this message reach more men, and check if you are subscribed so you do not miss the next steps, because what comes next will connect directly with what you just discovered and guide you deeper into regaining control. When you understand that the strength of your erection depends on how efficiently blood can enter and stay inside the penis, everything begins to make sense. What many men mistake as a loss of masculinity is actually a predictable physiological shift. After 50, your vascular system simply does not react with the same speed it once did, and this impacts the penis first because the arteries that supply it are some of the smallest in the entire body. Even a slight reduction in flexibility or blood flow hits your erection long before it affects your heart or larger muscles. That is why you might still feel energetic, still feel desire, still feel mentally ready for sex, yet your erection fades, weakens, or becomes unreliable at the exact moment you need it to be firm. Inside your penis, there are two main chambers called the corpora cavernosa. When you become aroused, these chambers expand like sponges, filling with blood under pressure. But this expansion depends on chemical signals, especially nitric oxide, which tells the walls of the arteries to relax so blood can rush in. As you age, your nitric oxide levels drop dramatically, and the smooth muscle tissue inside those chambers becomes less responsive. Instead of expanding quickly, it expands slowly. Instead of staying full, it struggles to maintain pressure. The result is the erection you have been noticing, there, but not firm enough, or firm but not lasting, or dependable one day and unreliable the next. Men often blame testosterone, and while hormone levels do play a role, the most common cause of weakened erections is vascular. Stress, poor sleep, elevated blood pressure, inflammation, mild insulin resistance, and even long periods of sitting all influence the small vessels that supply the penis. When circulation slows, the penis becomes the first messenger signaling that something needs attention. This is not a failure. It is feedback. Your body is telling you that the system responsible for expanding those chambers needs stimulation, oxygenation, and support to respond the way it should. Another factor rarely discussed is how tension affects the pelvic region. Chronic stress tightens the pelvic muscles, restricts blood flow, and interrupts nerve signals that help maintain firmness. Many men do not realize how much emotional and physical tension accumulates in this area over decades. Your penis does not exist in isolation, it responds to the entire state of your body. When blood flow is reduced, when nitric oxide is low, when the pelvic floor is tight, the erection weakens even if desire is strong. This is why men who feel fine mentally may still struggle physically. Yet the encouraging truth is that these mechanisms can be reactivated. The body retains the ability to produce nitric oxide, loosen the vascular pathways, and increase blood pressure inside the corpora cavernosa when properly stimulated. The key is applying techniques that work with your biology instead of against it. Once you understand what your erection depends on: pressure, expansion, muscle relaxation, vascular responsiveness, you can begin to influence it directly. And when the right trigger is activated, the response often feels immediate, almost like flipping a switch you didn't realize you still had, setting the stage for what comes next as we move toward the method that works within minutes by targeting the natural vascular reflex built into the male body. Now that you understand the real physiology behind weakened erections, the next step is to reveal the natural method that creates the rapid 3-minute effect men talk about. This technique works not because it forces the penis to become hard, but because it activates a built-in vascular reflex your body already has. The penis responds instantly when specific pressure points and muscular zones are stimulated, increasing nitric oxide release, relaxing the arterial walls, and sending a sudden wave of blood into the erectile chambers. This is the reason the effect can feel almost immediate when done correctly, and why so many men are surprised at how quickly their rigidity improves once they trigger the right mechanism. Inside the pelvic region, there are clusters of nerves and microvessels that directly influence blood flow into the corpora cavernosa. After 50, these areas become less responsive, not because they stop working, but because they are rarely activated in daily life. The method you are about to learn focuses on reawakening these precise areas. When properly stimulated, they create a gentle but powerful surge of circulation that pushes fresh, oxygenated blood toward the penis. This is what gives the sensation of warmth, tingling, or sudden fullness that many men describe when the technique begins to work. The core of this method involves 3 fundamental triggers: vascular stimulation, muscular activation, and controlled tension release. These are not complex movements or painful pressures. They are simple, targeted maneuvers that send signals to the nervous system to prioritize blood flow toward the sexual organs. Your body reacts because it is designed to respond to these signals. Think of it as flipping on a dormant switch that has been waiting for the right command. Once the signal is activated, nitric oxide production increases locally, which opens the arteries and allows the penis to fill much faster. What makes this technique so effective is that it bypasses external factors like stress, hesitation, or lack of mental arousal. Instead, it works directly on the physical mechanism that produces an erection. Even men who struggle with anxiety during sex, performance fear, or inconsistent erections often feel improvement because the method does not rely on psychological readiness. It relies on physiology. When the blood flow increases and the erectile tissue expands, the penis responds naturally, and the mind follows this physical change with renewed confidence. Another critical component is the engagement of the pelvic floor muscles. These muscles play an essential role in trapping blood inside the penis and maintaining internal pressure. With age, they become weaker, but when activated correctly, they help sustain firmness and prevent early loss of rigidity. The method combines this activation with stimulation of the vascular areas, creating a synergy that accelerates the entire process. This explains why the effect can be felt in minutes rather than hours, and why the penis can go from soft to firm faster than most men expect at this stage of life. As you begin to understand how these triggers interact, the logic behind the 3-minute secret becomes clear. You are not performing magic. You are awakening a natural response built into your body's design, preparing yourself for the practical step-by-step that will show exactly how to apply this method with precision, safety, and predictable results. Now that you understand the biological triggers behind the rapid improvement in erection quality, it is time to move into the practical application of the method itself. This is where most men finally feel the shift happening inside their body, because the technique transforms everything you learned into a physical response you can feel almost immediately. The first part of the method focuses on activating the primary vascular zone located between the base of the penis and the pubic region. This area contains the arteries and nerve pathways responsible for delivering the first wave of blood into the erectile chambers. To stimulate it correctly, position your fingers at the base, apply a firm but comfortable pressure, and slowly press inward toward the pelvic bone. Hold for a few seconds, release, and repeat. This motion signals the arteries to expand and begins pushing blood forward. The second step activates the internal pump mechanism of the pelvic floor. Many men do not realize that this muscular group works like a natural valve that traps blood inside the penis once it enters. To engage it, tighten the pelvic muscles as if you were interrupting a stream of urine, hold briefly, then release. Do this gently and consistently, avoiding excessive force, as the goal is activation, not tension. When combined with the pressure at the base, this creates a synchronized flow that encourages the corpora cavernosa to begin filling. You may start to feel warmth, fullness, or a subtle pressure expanding in the shaft, which indicates the method is working. The third part of the technique focuses on stimulating the lateral vascular pathways. These lie along the sides of the penis, where the dorsal nerve and microvessels run. Using 2 fingers, move along the sides with a slow upward motion, applying just enough pressure to awaken the nerve endings without causing discomfort. This increases sensitivity, improves signal transmission, and accelerates blood flow. The goal is not sexual stimulation, but vascular activation. Many men describe a sudden increase in firmness during this step because the erectile tissues respond quickly when these pathways are engaged. Once you combine these 3 actions, base pressure, pelvic floor activation, and lateral stimulation, you create a triangular effect that reproduces the natural sequence the body uses to initiate an erection. The pressure at the base opens the entry point for blood, the pelvic muscles trap it inside, and the lateral stimulation enhances internal expansion. Perform each step slowly and intentionally, allowing your body to respond. Most men feel a noticeable difference within minutes. The key is consistency in the movement, steady breathing, and allowing the blood to flow without forcing anything. Your body is designed to react to these signals, and with each repetition, the response becomes stronger as you prepare for the next phase of the method that amplifies these effects even further. As the initial steps of the method begin activating the vascular reflex, the next phase focuses on intensifying the effect so the surge of blood becomes stronger, more controlled, and more sustained. Many men are surprised to discover how small adjustments in breathing, posture, and muscle engagement can dramatically amplify the results they feel in the penis. One of the most important enhancements involves synchronized breathing, which directly influences blood pressure and oxygen flow. When you inhale slowly through your nose and allow your diaphragm to expand, you increase oxygen delivery to the lower abdomen. As you exhale, the body releases tension in the pelvic region, allowing blood to travel more freely toward the erectile tissue. This breathing pattern strengthens the vascular response initiated in the earlier steps and helps the penis fill more rapidly. Another key optimization is positioning. Standing, for some men, reduces pelvic congestion and allows gravity to support circulation toward the penis. For others, a semi-seated or slightly reclined posture works better, especially when the lower abdominal muscles feel tense. The goal is to find a position where the pelvis feels open rather than compressed. A relaxed pelvis allows the arterial pathway to expand more fully and increases the amount of blood that can enter the corpora cavernosa during stimulation. A simple adjustment, like slightly tilting the hips forward, can create more space for these vessels to respond, giving your erection a stronger, quicker rise. In addition to breathing and posture, gentle activation of the lower abdominal muscles enhances internal pressure. This is not a forceful contraction, but a light engagement similar to stabilizing your core. When combined with the pelvic floor activation from the previous topic, it creates a controlled internal compression that helps trap blood inside the penis once it begins to fill. This synergy between muscles forms the foundation of rigidity, and men often feel the shaft expanding with greater firmness as these muscles coordinate their response. Another powerful enhancement is targeted microcirculation stimulation. This involves gently massaging the area between the testicles and the anus, known for its dense network of nerves and blood vessels. Using a slow circular motion with moderate pressure increases warmth and stimulates blood flow upward into the base of the penis. This zone is closely connected to the erectile reflex, and when stimulated, it intensifies the vascular expansion that leads to a firmer erection. Many men feel a sudden heaviness or pulsing sensation during this step, a clear sign that blood is moving efficiently. All these optimizations work together to reinforce the effects initiated by the core method. They accelerate the delivery of blood, expand the erectile chambers more fully, and strengthen the internal pressure that keeps the erection firm. The method becomes more predictable once these enhancements are applied, and the body begins responding with increasing confidence. As these sensations build, the next phase focuses on maintaining this improvement and transforming the immediate response into consistent, reliable performance that continues to progress in the following steps. As the vascular response becomes stronger and the penis begins to fill with greater consistency, the next stage is learning how to sustain that firmness and transform the immediate effect into long-lasting improvement. Many men over 50 notice that they can achieve some degree of erection, but they struggle to maintain it, especially during movement or changes in stimulation. This happens because the internal pressure inside the corpora cavernosa drops too quickly when the muscles responsible for trapping blood are undertrained. The good news is that these muscles remain fully capable of strengthening at any age, and with the right approach, they can support a firmer, more reliable erection that lasts far beyond the first few minutes. One of the most important elements of maintaining erection quality is understanding how the pelvic floor functions during arousal. When these muscles activate correctly, they create a natural clamp-like effect that keeps blood inside the penis. But when they are weak or uncoordinated, blood escapes too quickly, causing the erection to soften even when desire is high. To reinforce this mechanism, focus on slow, controlled contractions that mimic the internal sensation of holding tension at the base of the penis. These subtle contractions should be steady and rhythmic rather than forceful, allowing the pelvic floor to build endurance instead of fatigue. Over time, this increases the penis's ability to stay firm without requiring constant mental effort. Another factor in maintaining rigidity is reducing the microtension that accumulates in the lower abdomen. Stress, poor posture, and long periods of sitting can tighten the muscles surrounding the pelvic region, limiting the vascular expansion necessary for a strong erection. To counter this, gentle abdominal relaxation exercises are essential. Slow breathing with deliberate softening of the lower belly helps widen the internal pathway through which blood travels. Many men notice that the penis feels fuller and stays firm longer simply by releasing unnecessary tension in this area. This creates a more stable foundation for the immediate effects of the method. Circulation also plays a continued role in sustaining firmness. Poor microcirculation can cause the erection to surge initially but fade rapidly. To prevent this, light stimulation of the thighs, inner groin, and lower abdomen reinforces blood flow over time. These areas act as gateways that support the penis during arousal, and keeping them active increases the strength of each vascular wave that enters the erectile chambers. This stimulation does not need to be intense, even subtle warming motions encourage steady pressure inside the penis, helping it maintain its firmness. As the body begins responding more predictably, you may notice that the transition from soft to firm becomes smoother, and the erection remains stable even as you shift positions. This is a sign that the vascular reflex and muscular coordination are aligning. Each repetition strengthens the internal mechanisms responsible for rigidity, making the results more consistent and longer lasting. With the groundwork now established, the next phase ties everything together into a complete experience that supports not only immediate improvement but also ongoing sexual vitality, confidence, and control. As your body adapts to these natural techniques and the vascular reflex becomes more responsive, something important begins to happen beneath the surface. The penis no longer reacts with hesitation or unpredictability. Instead, it starts responding with a sense of firmness that feels steady, reliable, and familiar, almost as if your body is remembering a pattern it thought it had forgotten. This is the moment when many men realize that improving their erection is not only about achieving hardness in the moment, but also about regaining a deeper sense of control over their sexual vitality. When the pelvic muscles support the pressure, when the blood flow becomes more efficient, and when the internal tension releases, the entire system works together to create an erection that feels stronger and more stable. What surprises most men is how quickly this transformation becomes noticeable. Small signals appear: first, a fuller heaviness at the base, a stronger response when stimulation begins, a firmness that holds even when you shift positions. These are indicators that the erectile tissue is expanding more completely and that the blood is staying where it needs to be. With each repetition of the method, these signals grow more consistent, and the body learns how to maintain the erection without strain. This stability creates a new level of confidence, because you are no longer wondering whether your penis will respond. You feel it responding. Another powerful shift occurs in the way the mind and body reconnect. When your erection becomes more dependable, your anxiety naturally decreases, and your focus shifts from worry to presence. This reduces the internal pressure that often interferes with performance and allows desire to flow more freely. Many men describe a renewed sense of masculinity not because they forced anything to happen, but because the body finally aligned with what they were feeling mentally. This harmony strengthens every part of the experience, from arousal to performance, and reinforces the improvements you have been building step by step. As these changes take hold, the method becomes more than just a quick solution. It becomes a foundation you can rely on whenever you need it. The more you practice, the more natural the response becomes, and the more your circulation adapts to support you. Your erection improves in minutes because the system behind it has been revived, strengthened, and retrained to work the way it was always meant to. And from this point forward, each application deepens the results and prepares your body to perform with consistency and confidence. If you have reached this part of the video, it means the content spoke to you and helped you understand your body in a clearer and more empowering way. If this journey made sense and added value to you, consider subscribing so you can continue learning methods that strengthen your sexual health naturally. Leave a comment with the phrase "This message was for me," so I know you stayed with me until the end, and share how this process is helping you. And if you feel connected to this topic, give the video a like to support this kind of content. There is another video right here that deepens what you learned today. Click and continue with me so you can keep improving step by step.